And in dentistry, there's a lot of now what we're combining together. In fact, I really like to emphasize that nothing's done in a nefarious way usually, and maybe we can talk about conspiracy. I don't even go there. That's not my vibration. That's not where I go. I look at it to say, everybody's trying their best. Everybody's trying their best, and we're just doing our best with what we have.
Yeah.
So there are some big controversies inside of dentistry that I stir up all the time. And just today, I had a bunch of people calling me out on some things, which I always take as a compliment. If they think I'm worth actually calling out, I'm like, great, let's talk. I am all talking because I can tell you why I say the things I do. But some of those controversies inside of dentistry are fluoride. And, there's all sorts of political things. Oh, it's just because they wanted to kill us all and dumb us all down. You know what? I don't even go there. Let's just talk about why we don't use fluoride. There's another controversy around root canals. A root canal is problematic. There's another controversy around wisdom teeth and taking wisdom teeth out. These are all real pretty active controversies inside of dentistry. But if we go backward a little bit, we can find the reason they started and maybe where they went off track for things. So what do you want to talk about? Let's maybe bring up a couple of these controversies.
Absolutely. Let's start with the one you went to first, fluoride, because I do find that one incredibly sort of like, wait a second. If Colgate and Crest are telling me fluoride's good and my dentist is telling me and the FDA says it's good, like, why are you telling me I shouldn't use fluoride?
Yep, exactly. So let's go to where it started from. There was a finding that people who are using well water that had high levels of natural fluoride had more cavity-resistant teeth. The higher the level of fluoride to a certain point, the more cavity-resistant the teeth became. After a certain point, they actually were still cavity-resistant, but they became mottled. It's called mottled, where they were kind of covered with brown and white splotches on things. So this mottling was on the teeth, and it didn't look good. So we knew that they didn't want to add that much fluoride, but we knew we could add a little bit of fluoride, and it would strengthen the teeth. So as a public health initiative, they said, all right, well, let's just start adding fluoride to things because people were disturbed that there were so many cavities. All right, let's just start adding fluoride. Let's add fluoride to our, tooth products. Let's add fluoride to the water. It's in attempt to decrease tooth decay because tooth decay is painful. It's especially hard in low-income populations that don't have the resources to be able to correct things. It can lead to a lot of tooth decay and to a lot of nutritional issues. I mean, it's a big deal. So they wanted to stop tooth decay. The problem is that fluoride doesn't just act on the teeth, just like anything you put in your body. It doesn't just act on one cell in the body. So on a tooth, what it does, fluoride actually takes the place of calcium in the enamel out here on the teeth, and it changes the enamel crystal from a hydroxyapatite to something called fluorapatite. Fluoride incorporated into this apatite crystal. Well, that is a harder, more brittle crystal. On a tooth, it's okay because it's the outside layer and there's a cushion underneath it. In a bone, which it also incorporates into, it's not as good to have something that's harder and more brittle. So they're finding things like higher hip fractures and rates that have high fluoride levels. So that's problem number one. It incorporates into your bones as well. It changes your bone structure. Problem number two is fluoride sits next to iodine on the periodic table. They're cousins. They're very similar to each other. Iodine is necessary to activate so many cells that secrete things, but particularly thyroid hormone. So if you have an excess of fluoride in the system, what happens is that it bullies iodine out of that fluoride hormone and will bind to that hormone instead of iodine. So you have hormone that looks like it's been activated. It should work. You should get the energy you need, but you don't. You don't feel great. And your blood test came back completely normal. It's because it's been activated by fluoride instead of iodine. So it's called, they're even calling this the type 2 hypothyroidism, where it doesn't show up on a blood test, but it's because of high levels of fluoride. A third problem, and this is research, this is shown by research, you can look this one up. They actually are showing that the fluoride does affect IQ levels in children. And this is the one people are like, what? No, you can't tell me that. Yeah, absolutely. Go look it up. There's a PubMed research article that shows this. So it's changing the brain chemistry because that fluoride is incorporating into places that other minerals would have. All of these things to say, okay, I don't love the concept of fluoride because it's going to affect so many other things. But here's my biggest contention. Teeth actually don't have natural fluoride in them. So when a cavity is formed, It's not because the tooth lost fluoride. It's because the tooth lost minerals.
Right.
So if it didn't lose fluoride, then why are we just adding fluoride back in? Well, certainly, can't we just add minerals back in? And that's really what the answer is just go back to what the problem is to begin with. The cavity is because there's too few minerals. Let's just add minerals back. How about if we just add the mineral that was the teeth are made of back in? And that's what's called hydroxyapatite.
Mm-hmm.
So hydroxyapatite people are talking about all the time now. What is it? It's just simply the mineral teeth are made of and bones are made of. Both of them are made of hydroxyapatite. So let's just take that. Let's just use that. So I have a tooth powder now that's a hydroxyapatite tooth powder.
Mm-hmm.
Just add the minerals back to the teeth. So I don't even have to fight you on what does fluoride cause.
Yeah.
I can talk about it, but I don't even need to go there because I can just say, you know what? Teeth didn't lose fluoride. They lost minerals. Just put back what they lost. Then we don't have to talk about the problems with fluoride because there's no need for it anymore. Let's just use the mineral that a tooth is made of. So to me, there is a controversy there, but you don't even have to go there. Just put back what was lost, and then you don't get cavities, and you don't have to worry about fluoride either.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be an argument about this. It just has to be, well, there is an alternative, and there's no sort of fuss about that, and that makes more sense anyway. Why don't we just go to that, right? Why don't we use that alternative, hydroxyapatite, and utilize that instead? And there's no need to do all the other stuff. So I agree with you 100%. It's just somehow people really get hung up on this, and you probably hear it a lot from conventional dentists. How dare you say that when we're helping children with these fluoride, treatments and everything, and helping them, stay healthy, as they say, even though they're not quite seeing probably all the research that goes on showing it may not be as healthy. And if you even have a little bit of that doubt, why not look for something that does not have that doubt and is more in a natural element within the body?
Yes, just replace it with the teeth. I mean, you can use fluoride or you can use hydroxyapatite treatments on teeth as well. We do it every day in our office.
I'm sure. Yeah. You got toothpaste with hydroxyapatite now. All sorts of things, right, are doing that now.